You may have been living under a rock, no pun intended, if you haven't been inundated with all things Taylor Swift the last year. One of the cute things that I really like that came out of her Summer Eras tour is these friendship bracelets that people were making and trading at the concert, and they were made out of colorful beads and the letter beads, and I thought, oh my gosh, what a cute idea for some kindness rocks. So I mixed together a little bit of gesso, some white paint, and a little bit of water to thin it out. And I'm going to just use some dotting tools and create some friendship bracelet inspired kindness rocks. This paint can be kind of finicky, so I'm getting these dots on and then I'm going to swirl in that paint while it's still wet with a disposable eyeliner brush to just kind of smooth it out so it doesn't have that little peak in the middle of the paint. And then one important thing is you want to make sure that these are completely dry before you go to write on them, or you will have this happen. I dug in on this L and the paint wasn't dry yet and it was all messy. So I dabbed it with a paper towel, redid the dot, and I let all of these dots sit for a couple of hours while we were doing dinner. Once they were dry, I started adding some smaller beads or dots in between the letter beads. So these are tinier beads, and if you think about how those bracelets are made, they could have all the same size, they could have multi-size beads. So to give it a splash of color in between the beads that will have letters on them, I added these smaller dots. And on this particular one, I decided to do a rainbow theme with the larger dots. So I'm just going back and forth with the rainbow colors with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and just keep going around until I've formed kind of this roundish bracelet. And I don't necessarily want it to be a perfect circle, so as I'm kind of coming up to the top of the bracelet, I'm kind of making it a little curved and a little imperfect, and then I'm taking my Posca PC1MR and drawing the strings of the bracelet on, and then I'm going to add some letters to my letter beads. Now, the friendship bracelets that inspired this design have anything from inside superfan jokes to inspiring phrases or words like besties, stuff like that. So very similar to a kindness rock and trying to find something inspirational. So I just started putting a bunch of different phrases on these. Now, I'm not a Taylor Swift superfan, but she's kind of been thrust in our faces, right? The last year. I have a lot of respect for her. I've gotten to learn a little bit about her because she's been so in the news and in all the pop culture stuff. And I have a lot of respect for her. I think she's a smart businesswoman and I think she has a lot of character. And so I think this is just a really cool idea. And it's so stinking easy for kindness rocks. You just need some paint pens and dotting tools. Like, it couldn't be any simpler. And this video is coming out right before Super Bowl weekend. She's in the news over that too, her and Travis Kelce, and I live in Nevada. The Super Bowl's in Vegas this year, and so of course there's tons of betting going on. They're saying it's going to be the highest bet on Super Bowl ever in history. But it's really funny because some of the things that people are betting on have nothing to do with the game. I think I saw one on the news tonight that said there's a bet for how many times Taylor Swift will be shown on screen, or how many minutes of airtime she'll have as part of the game. And I think it's hilarious. And my husband pointed out it's kind of a genius marketing tool if you bring in maybe people that don't really care about football. Maybe there's wives or partners or something that just aren't super into it, but they're into Taylor Swift, and you've now brought them into the Super Bowl fold and they might start betting. So it's kind of this crazy marketing thing unfolding that just blows my mind. And not that it matters, but somebody might ask what my opinion is on this whole, what do they call it, the trailer, Travis and Taylor, their whole relationship. I think they're cute. They both kind of strike me as very normal people that happen to be ridiculously famous. I watched the documentary about the Kelce brothers when I was traveling last week, and I really enjoyed it. I think they're very down-to-earth, normal people, and they just happen to have these cameras shoved in their faces all the time, which stinks. I would not want to live my life that way, so I think we should just let them be happy and enjoy each other, and I guess be grateful that we get to go along for the ride for part of it if we feel like it's our business. So this last design is definitely a play off of the whole Taylor Swift thing, because her tour was about the eras of all of her albums, and a lot of the, memes that have come from it, t-shirts and merch, have been in my something era, in my teacher era, in my whatever era. So I decided to do a rock that said in my kindness era. These are all some new pretty pastel paint colors that I got, and I ended up putting over with some metallics and glitter paints just to make them super sparkle. And I'm super bummed that we have not had a lot of sunshine lately. We've had a lot of snow and cloudy days, so the final product show here is not the prettiest, but this is just kind of what I came up with. This one might be a nod to the 49ers, maybe not. And you can just play around with them. Crazy color combinations, complementary color combinations. These could be a Valentine's design or just plain old kindness rocks, giving some nice messages to whoever might find it in the community. And this one I actually made as a gift for a friend's daughter who really loves painted rocks, and I think this one is my favorite design out of all of them. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch. I hope you have an awesome Super Bowl Sunday, even if all you do is watch commercials, halftime shows, and eat all the yummy snacks. Whatever you do, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Take care.